So this is the training on the Clinic Boost quarterly review, which, as you can guess, happens every quarter. So every 3 months, every 12 weeks. And typically at the very beginning of the year, then end of March, end of July, end of September, and leading up, of course, another annual review just after Christmas and New Year. Right. So the goals of this quarterly review is to give you clarity about the next step, the wildly important goal that you have for the next 3 months period, and the systems that are needed to be put into place, to be either put into place or to be improved to help you reach that wildly important goal in that upcoming quarter. And if you're a client of the Clinic Boost method, of course, from the data, the patient data which we've been collecting so far, that you will have a good idea of a realistic, attainable goal based on our benchmarks, which you can set for the next 3 months with your team. Because we really believe, and we say this over and over again, but it is our responsibility to give you the best practices, the best ways possible from the world's leading clinics, all the resources that you need to help you transform more lives. So by treating more and more patients, expanding your team, making more money, we believe you can change the world. And this is such an important thing because reaching patients is what Clinic Boost is about, and not for, to help us become wealthy, although that does come with it, but to really change people's lives, because we know the quality medical clinics around the world really do make a difference. But it's up to you. It's your responsibility as well to use the resources that we give you consistently and intentionally to reach more and more patients, reach more and more people. And we do this on the quarterly session through what we call the 4 disciplines of execution, which is like a framework that makes it very easy, simplifies the whole process so that you can do this with your team, you can do this along with us, and you are very clear on the next steps which are needed. This involves 4 things, of course. So focusing on 1, possibly 2 wildly important goals, okay, not more. Using the data that you have around you to make the right choices, to see what is actually a realistic goal, that if the next goal is achievable, and also working on the weakest point in your data, the thing that will make the biggest difference in your clinic. And, if you've already been with the Clinic Boost method, that's a core thing of what we look at on our weekly sessions, on our monthly sessions as well. Engagement is the 3rd step, is to use a compelling score sheet. As I said, with Clinic Boost method, you've already got that in place, a score sheet which your team is using to see how close you are to achieving that wildly important goal for each quarter. And number 4, the accountability that is needed, a cadence. So this means a routine, a regular system in place, though, that you're checking up on yourself to see if you and your team are moving forward towards that goal. And that's on a daily, a weekly, a monthly, and a quarterly basis. Okay, so let's break it down. The first step is to focus on the wildly important things. And a very good diagram here from the book, which is about the four disciplines of execution, which is a great book if you haven't read it already. But it talks about the whirlwind. So the day-to-day running of a clinic, admin desk is busy, the doctors are busy, the supporting medical staff, the nurses, they are busy. They do not have a lot of time to focus on lots and lots of new additions and new systems in the clinical process, in the patient journey. However, we are very sure, and you know that these are really important, to actually minimize slightly that whirlwind and focus more on the things that are moving you forward. Those are those wildly important goals. And I've got a breakdown here in this chart. You can also see the number of goals that you set certainly have a correlation with the numbers of goals that you can achieve with excellence. The more goals that you set, the less chance there are of achieving them. That's why in every quarter, we will set with your team, and in consultation with you, of course, 1, maximum 2 wildly important goals for that quarter. And then when we will implement all the resources and the systems along the way, these like mini goals, if you like to call them that, put them in place so that this goal can be achieved. Right. So as I've said, the rule, no team we ever recommend that focuses on more than 2 wildly important goals at the same time. And these systems that you choose to move you towards reaching that goal must win the war. We're choosing the things that will make the most difference in achieving that goal, okay? Now, you are the leader of your clinical team, and you can veto, you can advise, you can direct the attention of your team, but you cannot dictate. So really do talk about with your team what would be a suitable goal that they believe can be achieved in the next 3 months, in the next quarter, and let them come up with these goals and you can direct them. Okay, that's just a little bit of advice from the side, because you as a clinic owner or as the leader of your team are a leader. And that's what we're trying. The better you can become as a leader, the better you can direct and work with your team to help you achieve those goals. So also, all wildly important goals must have a finish line, okay, in the form of from X to Y by when. For example, I would like to take my conversion from discovery call to consultation session from 23% to 33% by the end of April, a month which is coming up, okay? So let's just go through a few examples. So you want to increase the weekly booked high value treatments by 35% before the 1st of April. So that's the overall wildly important goal. You know where you are. For example, you've been monitoring it over time. You know you're at 20%. You know that 35% is what other clinics around you are reaching. So that's your goal to reach. And then you're going to implement the following systems, okay, or improve the following systems. And these are like mini goals in the way, but you need to make sure that you have scripted message response, discovery call is in place, the consultation checklist is in place, obstacle overcome training, so any obstacle that a patient may come up with time, with money, or they're not the right person who's going to make the decision about their treatment in the moment, you're able to overcome those obstacles and you're tracking the new patient numbers daily. So this is just a quick example of the systems which are needed to be put into place, or there can be many others. You would discuss them with your team to see which systems you need to put into place and to improve to get this wildly important goal reached by the 1st of April. Second example, increasing patient referrals by 20%. Okay, so for example, you know that you could reach 45%. Currently, you're 25% of patient referrals per week. And then underneath, you're going to list, okay, once you've got that main goal chosen for the next quarter, where you're going to list, and we can help you with this if you're in the program, of course, but the systems which you need to have in place to help you achieve that goal, the best practices. Now, the other key thing here to mention is number 2 is you've set your goal, and the next one is to base it on data, okay? You need some type of reporting to see how close or how far you are from achieving that goal. And these are not things that are, we call them in English like pie in the sky. So they're like, I would like to have more follow-ups done by my admin team. I would like to have more calls from new patients. Now, these are very unmeasurable things that you do not have control of very much. Now, we're going to be collecting data on the numbers of things that you can have. How many telephone calls have been made? How many follow-ups have been done? How many consultations resulted in the patient going ahead with treatment? We are collecting data that you can collect easily and make decisions on. We do advise this. A note I wanted to put in here is that collaboration. So set your wildly important goals. Once you have them with your team, get their own ideas on how those ideas can be reached, how those goals can be reached, and also what data would be useful to be collected. Now, if you get them to come up with these ideas, it's much easier for you to get your team to help you implement this, okay? And delegate it, you assign one single person responsible for each one of those systems that you're putting in place to achieve your goal, okay? And I also do not advise for every single one, one WIG, wildly important goal. There should be 2, 3, possibly 4 improved systems per quarter. A lot more than that, in our experience, is hard for the team to implement and improve. The other thing, of course, is to keep a compelling score sheet. Little tip here is to get the team to come up with their own score sheet, their own data, or use our own, which we've developed with the best practices. And at the moment, we're developing it so it's even more, motivating for your staff. Each of your WIGs, your wildly important goals, should be measurable. The report should be shown weekly to your team and discussed. And you can also, of course, set fun incentives, like a meal out, a trip out, possibly some time off for each person that helps you achieve those goals. Okay, there's lots of incentives there which we can discuss in our weekly calls. And talking about weekly calls, the fourth step here of the quarterly session, once you have those goals, you have the data, you've built a score sheet to collect that data in, you're looking about the accountability. You're looking to have weekly 30-minute catch-up sessions based on this goal. So how close are you to achieving that goal? And it should be the same time, same day each week. And it's structured, it's supported by the data. You're sharing the sheet, the score sheet, and then you're looking at what worked this week, what didn't, what did you learn, and what will you do different next week. And if you're part of the Clinic Boost method, of course, we have our weekly catch-up calls with your admin team. Very, very similar based on this. Another thing is to have a daily report. So have your team report you daily on what worked, what didn't, what they learned, and what different. And it simply can be done with either a 5-minute quick chat or through a messaging email or a private message of some kind. This really, really works to make sure that your team is taking steps and has it top of mind every single day that this is the goal and this is what you're working towards. The other thing that we recommend here for accountability is also weekly one-on-ones. If you are the leader of your clinic or your team, you should be having weekly one-on-ones, looking at what's holding your team back and providing them with the support necessary to move them forward. Okay? And there's other training in the Clinic Boost method on this, of course. So a quick review of what we've talked about: how to set your wildly important goals, how to use team collaboration to set the initiatives to achieve those wildly important goals, using the importance of using or creating a compelling score sheet, and implementing the accountability to ensure that you achieve those wildly important goals. And whatever quarter of the year you're at, or if you're at the beginning of the year and now you've set your goal, I wish you all the best. And we are here to help you achieve those goals through the Clinic Boost method at any point in time.